Oh, there is a tractor, there's a moving tractor. This is some serious farmland line missioning, man. Welcome back to The Adventure Awaits, everyone. The home of the mischievous adventure and the birthplace of the straight line mission. Am I mad? For 5 years now, you've watched me battle my way through brambles, scale my way up cliffs, wade through rivers and swamps, and evade angry farmers. All in the name of the seemingly pointless task of crossing a country in a perfectly straight line, with some weird and wonderful obstacles thrown in just for fun. And a general let's see how far we get sort of attitude. It gradually morphed into something that resembled more of a covert military operation than an adventure. That covert military operation hit new heights in January, with my long overdue successful crossing of Wales and peaks right here. This is, without question, the most ambitious and challenging straight-line mission ever attempted. Honestly, it's moments like this when I think, why am I doing this? But for the 7th time, wasn't Wales enough? Can't you go back to having fun again with your caravan parks and manor houses? In fact, pretty much as soon as Wales was done, I had my sights set on the big one. And there were 2 pretty good reasons for this. Firstly, and probably most significantly, competition. Despite the disrespectful slander that they liked to fire over at me. Would GeoWizard be able to do this? No chance. He would have gone home by then. The Fieldhouses and myself have forged an amicable relationship as well as a healthy rivalry. They let me go first for Wales Attempt 4, and I agreed to race them across the Isle of Man in December. Idiots. We both knew that England was possible, just as we both knew that whoever completes it effectively gains the title of current heavyweight champion of straight-line missions. All it took was the suggestion of it shortly after our respective Wales successes, and that was it. England was in both of our calendars for the following winter. Something I doubt would have happened if not for the existence of the other party. But if ambition and glory weren't good enough reasons to conquer England in early, there was another even more wholesome one. It thrills me to announce that me and Verity are expecting a baby. In fact, if you're watching this on or around the release date, she could literally be squeezing her way out as I speak. Now, don't worry. Straight-line missions aren't going to become a thing of the past just because I'm a dad. But missions of this magnitude, and by that I mean sheer length, but also danger and legalness, aren't really something I want to be carrying out when I have a baby. With the nipper growing each day, and with word from ever-confident recent Isle of Man victors Archie and Adam that they'd been making their attempt in late January, there was once again a great deal of pressure, but also a huge hunger to get this done. It was basically a repeat of last year with Wales, in that failure was not an option, except the actual task in question was borderline insane. Am I mentally strong? But what is it that makes a mission across England so monumentally difficult? Firstly, it's important to mention that this is the only area in the entirety of England that a straight-line crossing is both feasible and acceptable as a country crossing. There is some debate around what qualifies as a crossing and what doesn't, but I think most of you can agree that while these examples definitely aren't acceptable, this one is, because of how squarely the border with Scotland cuts across from coast to coast. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to be able to cross down here somewhere, but because of various urban areas, not to mention a frankly heart attack-inducing amount of farmland, it's just not possible. So the borderlands of Northumberland and Cumbria are the choice. Up here, there's far less people and a much more manageable amount of farmland, making it possible but by no means easy. Coming in at just under miles, over twice as long as 2 of my Wales missions, it was big. And there's a reason that there isn't much farmland up here too. It's mountainous, and those mountains are cold, wet, and covered in either spongy heather or gigantic pine plantations. The main one, Kielder Forest, is by far the biggest in the country. Getting over this mile middle section would be an incredibly grueling task in of itself. But you know, what makes this mission such a daunting prospect, especially for a solo missioner, which is what I would be on this occasion, is that even if you do make it out of that, you still have a fair bit of farmland to get through. Now, imagine for a moment that you've survived the early farmland and then battled your way through cold, wet forests and moors for 4 days straight, hitting all manner of mental highs and lows, only to be caught here by an unsympathetic farmer and sent packing. In short, the width makes it harder, makes you more likely to fail, and makes it all the more heartbreaking if you do. Of course, there would be other obstacles too. Europe's largest reservoir for one, as well as 2 private hunting estates, countless swollen rivers, oceans of fallen trees. but definitely not any high-speed railway tracks or military firing ranges containing unexploded shells. Whether that last line was a lie or not, this was a monumental undertaking, and as a result, strategy this time had to be different. And when I say different, I mean Archie and Adam different. Yep, if I wanted to beat him, I was gonna have to join him on this occasion. Not literally, of course, because they'd slow me down. What I mean is, if my mission was to have any chance of success, I was gonna need a support crew and a van. So camper van? Look at this, man. We've got ourselves a little mobile home for the mission. We're doing it Archie and Adam style. It's gonna be great, man. All right, mate. Benny boy, this is sick. It's good, isn't it? How you doing, mate? How you doing? You all right? Yeah, this is sick. It's class, isn't it, man? I left the lights on. That's right. Helping me out on this trip would be familiar face Ben Cook, whose ultra-running experience, rational outlook, and chirpy northern sense of humor would blend perfectly with Verity's organizational skills and caringness. Even with a van, though, this dynamic duo would still struggle to stay on top of things logistically. There are barely any accessible roads in those central areas, let alone villages. And while the van would give me the best chance of sleeping safely on the line, as well as keep me warm, dry, well-fed, and perhaps most important of all, sane, it only takes a second for a plan A to become a plan B. And while scouting out places to sleep on our detour to Kielder Water, we were swiftly reminded of that fact. Bit of an update, we're stuck. Keep going! Oh god, look at that! Oh my god, we'll not try that again on the rest of the trip then. No, yeah, laughs. The other thing that needed to go up a notch or two on this mission was speed, even more so than Wales 4. For a start, I really didn't want to be out there for 7 or 8 days. Not least because I might have to start again. But for so many reasons, an ultra light pack was the choice. It would take less of a toll on my body, give me the best chance of reaching the van before dark in those mountainous or foresty areas, and it would come in equally useful in the farmland, where, as we've learned so many times now. Mate, he's coming through here. Mate, run over that fence. Mate, we got to. Speed is key. My aim was to run whenever possible, eat on the move, take less breaks, and minimize fiddly and time-consuming camera shots. I even planned to do 2 small sections in the dark, to minimize the chances of being caught. These things will combine to give this series a slightly different vibe to previous ones, but I can't stress to you enough that this time, perhaps more than ever before, it was about getting it done. Who knows? In a week's time I could be arriving at this absolutely stunning beach overlooked by the mighty Bamborough Castle, victorious. Right now though, that felt like worlds away. Well, these are the lands of day 1 that we're passing through now. And looks pretty farmy, don't it? Yeah, laughs. Pretty farmy. The hedges are pretty farm right here. Pretty beastie. After making a solitary water stash 4 miles from the coast.